AOC was saying. I mean, not that anybody cares what she has to say in response to anything, but that was her push in response to these polling numbers and inflation and so on. She was like, if we could just like stick to the agenda, get BBB passed, push this stuff through, and get rid of college debt for all, college students. She's back. She's a one-trick pony. Everything should be free. We should go back to our socialist roots. And then the Democrats won't be facing a bloodbath in November. And all these numbers will turn around. Free college for everyone. Didn't you guys have somebody pay for your college?
Okay, we're going to return to that because it turns out that she kind of did have someone pay for her college, Megyn Kelly. But I love the little slip up there of we should go back to our socialist roots. Wait, was that Megyn Kelly admitting that there are socialist roots in the United States? And also throwing out the theory that AOC doesn't genuinely want student loan debt to be canceled. It's not that Megyn Kelly is saying that that's what AOC wants. I disagree with it. She believes that this is an opportunistic, strategic thing around the midterms, not something that AOC has been consistently advocating for literally years. But anyway, before we dive into the reactions, I want to give Megyn Kelly a little bit more time to make her case where she attacks the kids themselves burdened by student loan debt.
So, do I think now that, I would have been better off if the federal government had stepped in? Look, it would have been nice, but I don't think the neighbor should have to pay for my college education. We took out loans too, and then we paid those loans back. Why should these snot-nosed kids today? I'm sorry. The ones who really need it, they can get loans, right? But like you point out, a lot of these people are going to be these sort of college, Columbia elite graduates who are going to spend their years in journalism trying to shame half of America for doing absolutely nothing wrong. Why should I be paying for their college education? I don't want to.
Exactly. She doesn't want to pay for them specifically because they disagree with her, I guess. And you, by the way, if you're a conservative watching whatever that show that she does is, you might be burdened by student loan debt. Your kids, your friends might be burdened by student loan debt. And I'm sure that pains you quite a bit. But somewhere out there, there's a kid that goes to Columbia. And wouldn't you rather own him by being owned by student loan debt managing companies for the rest of your life? You should continue to be burdened if that's what it requires to make some kid that goes to college in New York continue to be burdened by a student loan debt. It's a ridiculous argument, Brett. What do you make of it?
So it's April 6th, 2022, and this is the first time that a conservative has said that rich people should pay their fair share. And it only applies to student loan debt. And she's saying that there is no world in which education should be free. But education is free in this world. Your taxes pay for it. And you might go off and pay for a private school on your own. That stuff doesn't necessarily apply to all this. But in this situation, those folks just make your decision on your own, but you still pay for public education. You still pay for public services and protections. New Mexico did this. New Mexico passed like a free college bill. It's doable, it's popular. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, that's my direct point on that statement of hers.
Exactly. And look, and she made a lot of different points there, and they're all insane. So she's angry, like specifically at AOC. That's who she's attacking with this, even though what they're responding to, which we're gonna get into more about the continuation of the pause on student loan debt repayment, is not an AOC policy. Not only did she not do it, she doesn't think that that's what we should be doing. She has a totally different solution. But Megyn Kelly, who totally doesn't care what AOC thinks about this or anything else, decides to center AOC in the conversation. Now, I'm perfectly happy to center AOC in the conversation because she's been an amazing advocate for student debt cancellation. But it's a weird move for Megyn Kelly, in addition to other weird moves. Like she says there, like, you want someone else to pay your student debt. But she goes on to say in the podcast that she had someone pay her student debt. She tragically lost her father when she was a teen, actually quite like me. In her case though, her father had life insurance and they were able to use the life insurance to pay off much of the student loan debt of herself and her siblings. Terrible experience. I don't begrudge anyone for having to go through that. But she did get someone to pay it off. So like, can't you factor that into it? Isn't it nice that you weren't burdened for so long? She says it would be nice if someone else paid it off. But why should the student government do that? All of these people who actually need it, they can get loans, but that's the problem. We're not just talking about people losing access to higher education because of the high cost. That's a very real problem, by the way. But even the people who get access via the loans will be burdened by that massively, a crushing financial debt for literally decades, like another home. They'll be paying for that. And that is going to rid them of much of their freedom, the word that you guys love to talk about, in choosing where to live, what sort of job to go after. Instead, they're gonna have to make most of their decisions based on the fact that they have to pay off these loans, and they will for much of the rest of their lives.
This is a pretty standard Republican move where you just kind of signal to some generic Ayn Randy sounding concept. But at the end of the day, your objective is just to maintain the hierarchy you've already set up. I understand that colleges frequently are just clubs. They're country clubs where you go meet people. Yes, you get skills, but you make connections that you can use to network later on. And maybe in certain situations, like some kind of vocational education would be better. But the reason Megyn Kelly wants to keep college expensive and all Republicans isn't because they think it's unfair to have rich people, get free college. It's because they want to make sure they keep the hedges as high as possible around the country club of power in America. And if you can go to a college based on your ability to learn and understand and ace tests there, then they've eliminated the true obstacle that they need to keep in place, which is keeping it really expensive.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you're a conservative, like Brett's totally right. If you're a conservative and you're watching this, like I don't know exactly where Megyn Kelly went to school. We could Google it. I'm guessing it was a good school. And certainly
Notre Dame.
The other, he's gonna look it up. The other pundits, the politicians, they all went to these schools that they love to throw out there. Like they attack those schools to provide these false, faux populist credentials, but they went there. And those are the people that they end up marrying. Those are the people that they work with. Those are the people they associate with. They talk at you, pretending to be against the group that they are so happy that they are a part of. They are scamming you for their own benefit. And I understand it's difficult to identify that you've been scammed, but understand there's a support structure there for you if you can finally do that. We will accept you if you wake up to the fact that you're being conned by these people that are the very elites that they pretend to attack.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.